Hello, hello. Well, just let everybody get in. I can see that there's people still filing in. While we're doing that, I would love to hear from you in the chat. Where are you tuning in from? Pennsylvania. Hello, hello. Sweden, BC, Canada. I'm in BC. Bend, Oregon, Essex, Vancouver, Ireland, Oregon, Illinois, Sweden, London, the UK, Greek islands, Argentina, New York. Oh, you can't hear me? Steph, you can hear me? Okay, good. I'm just going, or Ontario, New York as of today, or just today, Sweden, aloha from Maui, Florida, Sweden, lots of Sweden, England, Sao Paulo, Brazil, California, Slovenia, Portland, London, Scotland, Quebec, Ireland, Liverpool. Oh my gosh, I can't keep up. Germany, Sweden, Minnesota, Texas, Scotland, Oregon, more Sweden, Colorado, Portland, Dubai, Dallas, New York, New Jersey, Ohio. Amazing. And just out of my own curiosity, who here already has a Healy? Drop a one in the chat. Drop a one in the chat if you already have a Healy. Amazing, amazing. And if you don't have a Healy yet, but you're thinking about it, drop a two in the chat. Or if you don't have one, you don't have to be thinking about it. Maybe there's nobody without a Healy here yet. Okay, or maybe you're shy. Maybe you don't know how interactive our calls are just yet. Wonderful. Okay, and then the last thing while people are still filtering in, what is your favorite program to run? What's your favorite program that you've been running lots lately? I love hearing what people are using. Bed rest. Okay, hold on. Coherence, bed rest, cosmic growth, release, free
Okay.
flow, regeneration, the coach, soul cycle, release, well-being, soul, root chakra, coach, clean all, performance, inner peace, soul. I know it's so tough, Jen. Coherence came a few times, nerve harmony, rebalance, allergy meridian. We run that all the time in my house. In the process of doing Deep Cycle H, love it, but the coach as well. Bed rest, regeneration in the deep cycle, well-being and coherence, just starting. So the gold, awesome. I literally can't decide. I love so many. I mean, hi, that's my category. Emotional well-being, meridians, care, release, pure, second round of deep cycle, amazing. Amazing. I was just reflecting this morning how much my usage of Healy has changed over the year and a half that I've had mine for. It used to be so much about skin and allergies. And as those resolved within our family or have come closer to resolution in our family, it's shifted. And it's so fun to see, like, as you change, what comes through the resonance scan changes as well. So okay, let's get going here. So my name is Jana Romer. If we haven't met yet before, it's such a pleasure to meet you. Those of you that are doing the deep cycle, I was the one that built out the structure in Circle for us to do that protocol. Such a fun thing to create. And this call today, we are talking about all things kind of mystical and Healy. So we've got astrology, we've got human design, we've got Akashic records, we've got shamanism, and talking about how we use it both in our practice and how to amplify it within our practice. And so there's a mixture today of both how we're using our Healys, and then also how you can use it within your business, within your weave it with what you're already doing. I think that's really what it is about for me anyways. So I'll share my story really quickly. So like I said, my name is Jana and I'm an astrologer and I'm also a yoga nidra guide. And the two of them I weave together and I've created a practice called Astro Nidra. And those Astro Nidra practices are really the state of yoga nidra and Healy are they're like lovers. They go together like they're besties because in both practices in yoga nidra what we're doing is we're accessing that liminal space where you're basically swimming in the subconscious mind. You're basically swimming in the realm or the world of the invisible. We, in the practice of Yoga Nidra, one of the first things we do, I mean, there's stages and steps to it, but one of the first things we do within the practice, like the first quarter of the practice, is we do a body scan. And the purpose of the body scan, and most guides will guide it in a particular order or one of a few different particular orders, because what it does is it brings the nervous system into a state of coherence. And once your nervous system is in a state of coherence, then you're able to access the world beyond form. Okay. And so briefly, if you don't know what coherence is, and I saw a lot of people saying they love the coherence program. If you don't know what coherence is, I think the easiest way to describe it is when all of the 10,000 things that distract you every single day, all of a sudden get quiet and you're focused on one thing or the expanse of everything. And that state, you're dropped into an expression of the parasympathetic nervous system. And I have a belief that has been born through experience that when we are in a coherent parasympathetic nervous system expression, okay, so I'll say that and I'll explain coherence through this. When you're in a coherent parasympathetic nervous system expression, what happens is your nervous system no longer needs to be scanning your outer world for danger, because that's what our nervous system is here to do, right? To keep us safe, right? So you're no longer scanning your environment for danger, and your nervous system inverts itself. So instead of looking out, your nervous system starts to look in. And in that moment that your nervous system starts to look in, you reconnect with your divinity or with your soul essence or with that part of yourself that is ancient and infinite and eternal. And when you're in that state, the ability to witness yourself, to see yourself from outside of yourself, Yoga Nidra is a conscious disassociation, right? To see yourself from outside of yourself, you're able to see maybe your wounds, maybe your gifts, maybe clarity comes to some of the confusion that you've been struggling with. Maybe we can look at a belief, I'm not worthy, or I'm not good enough, or I don't believe in myself, or I'm not trustworthy. And we can rewrite that belief with a new belief. I am enough. I am worthy. I trust myself. I believe in myself. I love myself, whatever it is that you're working with. And the way that this isn't a program, this is the practice of Yoga Nidra. Those of you in the deep cycle, I dropped some good Astro Nidras in there. Morgan also from our community dropped some in there. I use Healy with my practice, either on the Meg Healy with the coherence program or on the smaller Healy with the coherence program, because that state of coherence is the most essential nutrient to the whole entire practice. So what they found with coherence is that when the nervous system comes into coherence, the first thing that happens is naturally your chemical system starts to produce chemicals, hormones that help you to heal. All of the different systems in your body start to communicate with each other more smoothly. And anything that's out of balance, all the ones that are healthy and in balance start to entrain to the systems that are balanced. So the out of balance stuff comes into balance. And that, my friends, is the definition of coherence. If you were to watch, I like to think of a couple different things. You could think of a sporting event. And in between plays, everybody's talking. And it's an incoherent crowd. You couldn't hear what one person in the crowd was saying. But let's say I'm from Canada. Let's say it's hockey and there's a breakaway. And all of a sudden the whole crowd is standing up and they're watching the player. And maybe there's even a mascot that's cheering them, to like guiding the cheers. And now everybody in the whole stadium is on this, holding their attention on the same thing and maybe even chanting the same chant. That's a coherent crowd, right? Or if you were to envision a military, what do they call that? Formation, when everybody is marching right, left, right, left, right, left. If there were two guys out of step, that would be the most obvious thing in the whole group that is in sync in the formation. When those two come back into sync, then we establish group coherence again. And so it's the same thing in our body. Those two guys that are out of step, that's like the one system that's like wreaking havoc in your whole body. And it's essentially pulling everybody into chaos. And then the two soldiers come back into line, or that one system comes back into coherence, and everybody comes together. And so this coherence program is really powerful to do that. I want to share one other thing before I pass it on. And that's that I also use it in my astrology practice. And what I've noticed in astrology is the longer I play with my Healy, the less attached I am to, I'm just going to say, archetypes and timing. And not timing as in aspects, but timing is in, are we doing tropical? Are we doing sidereal? Are we doing true sky? I'm less attached to any of that. Because what I'm starting to understand with astrology through using Healy is that it's more important that we understand the light and dark cycle. It's more important that we understand the phases of the moon. It's more important that we understand the aspects. So when something's squaring something or when it's trining something. And when we think of astrology through actual light, because light is information, right? Light is information, whether it's the moonlight or the sunlight or the darkness, that's all information that your body is receiving. We are light beings. We have photosensitive cells through our whole entire body, including inside of our body, right? And these photosensitive lights are actually, when light lands on our body, it signals different chemicals, and that is our circadian rhythm. And so from an astrological point of view, when I understand us as light beings, it's no longer in the realm of woo, and it's actually in the realm of physics and something that is quantifiable and something that has been studied and is reputable for like ages, like years and years and years and years and years. In fact, when we go way back, astrology was used to know when to plant gardens, when to harvest, when to rest, when to stay up later, when to gather, when to, like all of that stuff. And so for me, astrology is less about the archetypes and more about light and the variations of light and the rhythms of light along with the moon, right? And so Healy has helped me to understand that, because when you're using, let's say, the deep cycle, which we spoke of as people were sharing their favorite programs, deep cycle is meant to be done from new moon to new moon, because it's using planetary harmonics within the program to help you align to nature on a cosmic level. When you're doing gold cycle energy is meant to be used around the full moon. Release is meant to be used around the new moon. They're meant to be used around balance is meant to be used around the first quarter and the third quarter moon. And when it was designed with the lunar cycle in mind. We also have natural cycle, which is an incredible program that aligns you with the Oregon clock, with the sun, the moon, and the earth, and the oxidization of our bodies, natural. And so the more I'm using my Healy the way that it's intended to be used, it's changing the way that I practice astrology, that's connecting to more people in a much deeper way, because it's not as woo and it's more grounded in reality. All right. So that's my wow. Okay, here we go. Oh, and I will say one more thing. I use the coach in my business, no matter what. Oh, we need everybody muted. No matter what I'm doing, like whether it is working with Healy, with astrology, with Yoga Nidra, whether it's planning, whether it's doing my books, whether it's like whatever it is, I'm constantly using my Healy to enhance my experience. So, okay. I'm going to be quiet because there's more people here. And if you know me, you know that I could blab on forever and ever and ever and ever. But we want to hear from Eve next. And Eve is an intuitive medium. She works with the Akashic Records, and she's also a Reiki master, and offering energetic healing sessions as well. And as much as I just said, I'm taking astrology out of woo, the woo is actually proven over and over again through the quantum. And I'm sure Eve's share will be so delightful. So thank you so much, Eve, for being here and sharing with us.
Oh my gosh, thank you for having me. This community means so much to me. Like all the wisdom you just shared, Jana, it just overflows and inspires me continually. Yes, so I am an intuitive medium. I work primarily within the Akashic Records. I'm Reiki trained and I use Reiki and angelic healing energy. I channel light language and use frequency in that way, as well as with my Healy. I support all kinds of people. A lot of women and mothers come to me to work together as well. And I'm a mom. I have two young boys at home. So, talking about that nervous system support really hits home for me too. Um, but yeah, I got my Healy in December of 2022. I was drawn to it after some really moving shares I heard about physical body support from Healy, and I have a history of chronic health symptoms and things like that that I've been unlayering over the years. So I dove into using Healy for that support, but I was completely blown away very quickly too, over coming weeks and months to see how much else was transforming in my life from using Healy. Um, and using the frequencies in that way, and how it just really seamlessly has fit into all of my spiritual and energetic offerings as well. It's been incredible to see, the transformations occur within the physical body, mental, emotional bodies, spirit and soul growth, and my energy as well. So I'll try to keep it quick because I also can talk about these subjects because I love them so much and there's so much to share. But I will say it's been really interesting to see how using daily frequency application on myself as a practitioner has really moved my business and supported me in holding space for my clients. One of the first things I noticed in using frequencies through my Healy was how suddenly, like, I just felt like I could tap into my authentic expression in a much deeper way and embody my own authenticity without hesitation compared to before, especially within this world where a lot of these practices are not, the common for, everyday kind of modes of operating for most people. And we can all have some shadows around that, especially, maybe here in the Midwest where I am, where I'm kind of a little bit, beating to my own drum compared to a lot of people around me. But suddenly I just wasn't holding back as much. I noticed my motivation was increasing as my confidence grew. My energy was expanding along with my nervous system capacity and all of the other physical miracles that were unfolding as well. But being able to tap into my authentic expression as a practitioner felt really, really expansive and different. And then along with that, I will say I've been intuitively channeling, for many years now and felt like, not to toot my own horn because I can be really humble, but my gifts at that point were pretty strong in terms of being able to channel really fluidly for people, tap into spirit guides, deceased loved ones, spirit babies, ancestors, angels, angelic beings, all of those supports that we all have, our highest self. But once I started using my Healy, I was super surprised to see how my intuitive abilities really skyrocketed and became much more clear, precise, more detailed information was coming through. Just with like a clearer lens, more coherence. It was really phenomenal to see that. So working, with my own soul transformation, I started to see these big shifts unfold with the information I was able to glean for myself about past lives, what was unfolding in my current life, making connections with patterns and behaviors and areas that I could support myself in, and then applying Healy frequencies to boost that as well, and then do so for clients in session. And it's just been like, wow, really rapidly expanding in ways that I never anticipated, and has been really lifting within my business and career. And then on a personal level for myself, and then being able to support my family and, husband and children with kind of assessing what's going on for each of us as well. So that's been really phenomenal. Um, and then in terms of just kind of being able to surrender into the flow of life more, that's something that has happened with using frequencies, where I'm kind of just trusting the guidance more that I receive, trusting the process, and again, being able to support myself through using my intuitive gifts, Reiki, but also frequencies in different areas of my life than I would have ever expected to use frequency support in the mix with those other modalities has been really cool. So we were talking about coherence. I use that program a lot as a practitioner in session. I'm always running my Healy on my body for myself to increase my intuitive capabilities, like I'm saying in session, to work with my nervous system and hold space for my clients. And then also running my mag Healy in the room. I do a lot of virtual sessions. So, I'm always using my Healys to support myself as practitioner. And then when I am working in person, I'll do, workshops where I'm speaking. And again, running those programs to help myself as speaker. And then I'll bring in the Mag Healy and run frequencies for the entire workshop group, the participants who are there to learn, whether that again be coherence or chakra balancing programs. I also like to run relaxation programs when we're doing guided meditations. And things like that, and then also use it during other events that I'm, speaking within and sharing frequencies within the group. Um, and I also find that, as someone who's working with a lot of soul level growth and transformation, using the Healy coach, not only for current life circumstances that I want, aid and transformation within, and also greater insights about what's happening and discovering what's going on through the Healy analysis programs, that has been really pivotal for me. So I use that for a lot of, current life support, but also when I'm discovering things through my own intuition about maybe a past life circumstance that I want to bring in support for, I'll use the coach to send frequencies in the quantum for my multi-dimensional, I guess, aid and transformation as well. And I've also been weaving the Healy coach into my practice with clients, offering that to them within sessions and an ongoing way as well, if they want to continue to receive frequencies and pinpoint what's happening, uniquely within their bioenergetic field, what they're holding on a soul level as well. So that's been super cool to work with that in a quantum way for clients, as well as, when I'm sharing in person and, during live sessions too. So that's just a little bit of a peek into a few different ways that I've been using that as a practitioner. But it's also been really exciting because I have a lot of peers in, similar mediums and practices who are seeing me use the Healy and seeing the transformations I'm experiencing within my practices, but also my life in a really holistic sense. And people have been coming forward, very curious about the device and frequencies and wanting that for themselves. And then I'm getting to witness what's happening and taking place for them uniquely within their own life expression, business, health, bodies, etc. And that's been incredibly moving to see that journey and peers and friends and my Healy teammates as well. So it's just been a really big passion to get to experience this firsthand support within my business and rippling into the other areas of my life as well in ways, like I said, I didn't even anticipate when I joined with Healy and started using frequencies in a deeper way every day. And yeah, it's just been incredible now to get to witness that for myself, my family, and then my team members and other people who are like just, blown out of the water to see the various ways that it's kind of, just shifting their life unexpectedly and expectedly too. So it's been really fun to do that and get to share the gift of frequency. So I hope that kind of encompasses a nice little snippet of how I'm using it. I feel again like I could give so many examples of different ways that I'm working with frequency and getting really creative with it too, because there's so much here to use. I mean, the aura analysis I use with clients and for myself, I love using Bach remedies within the resonance analysis and creative homeopathy. And then there's so many programs too that can work with specific areas of healing support that I need or the clients I'm seeing need as well. So yeah.
Amazing. Thank you, Eve. What a beautiful share. My goodness. I haven't heard you speak in so long. It's so nice to hear from you.
It's so much fun to be here. Thank you.
Yeah. And I'd love to hear just from people that have their Healy. One of the things that stood out for me that I think, regardless of what you're doing, Eve shared that her intuition has sharpened, her intuition has opened up. Has anybody else felt that? In the chat? Drop your favorite emoji if you've experienced your intuition shifting and opening and changing with your use of Healy. Yeah, look at those emojis coming in. I love the mushroom emoji. It's so good. So good. Okay, yeah, for sure. I remember when I first got mine, I was using it and I texted my upline and I was like, Carla, I think I'm more psychic. And she was like, I know, shh. She's like, nobody can lie anymore. It's kind of funny. Okay, so next up, I want to introduce you to Amanda. And some of you who haven't met Amanda yet, you might have done some of her yin yoga in the Deep Cycle protocol. She was one of the featured guides and practitioners in there. Amanda does astrology and human design and yoga, and she's all around pretty magical little being over here. So I'll leave it to that, Amanda, and let you introduce yourself. Thank you so much for being here as well.
Hello. Thanks so much for having me. Can you see me? Because I can just see Jana. You can see me, right, everybody? Okay. Thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be here. I've probably been in Healy for a little over a year. It seems like longer, but I was thinking about it today, and I think it's only been a little over a year. And I went to the conference last year when it was in Miami because I was just really wanting to like understand what I was working with and meet the people behind it and like dive in head first to the technology. And I had kind of made a big shift in my life several years ago. So like I worked in the NFL and I worked in film for 14 years. And like all that time I was kind of like building a toolbox because I needed a toolbox. I was dealing with my own nervous system dysregulation, my own health issues, my own anxiety and depression and things like that. And so even though I was working in these other places, I was like gathering tools the whole time. And then I moved to Portland about 10 years ago and I like shifted things. Like I gave up my career in film for the most part and like really started working as a coach and guide and healer. And I started out working with breath work and meditation and yoga and all of these kind of tools. I really trained in yoga because I couldn't get anyone to come to our meditation classes. And I was like, maybe I'll just train in yoga and then I'll like sneak in like what I really want to be doing. And then I discovered human design about 9 years ago. And it became like what I filtered everything through. It was like I had this huge, vast toolbox. And then I had a way to like hone things, which is like my favorite thing is like, how dialed in can I get to someone's specificity? Like what this person really needs is my total jam. And I will put all of the tools into that. So I work with human design and traditional Hellenistic astrology and astrocartography and feng shui and organ theory and traditional Chinese medicine and the fascia system. Like I'm a weaver. I've got gate 44 in my conscious sun and I'm just like, how many things can I like bring into the grid working mix? And then like years ago, I read about the cosmic trinity and that felt like it even honed it a little bit more for me. I didn't see when I started and I'm going to set a stopwatch for myself because I am like a rattler. And the cosmic trinity is kind of like the idea that like 33% of our luck is human luck. It's like, what are your default settings? What are the programs that you're running in your mind? What are like the loops that are happening? Like, what is the like human participation in how we're attracting things. And then 33% is like our earth luck. So I put like my astrocartography work and my feng shui work in there, and like how can we optimize our environment and our environment in human design. And then the other 33% is heavenly luck. So for me, that's like what's going on with the cosmos. And for me, astrology and human design is like an outline for our life. And then we get to like write the story, right? So like it sets up circumstances. And then sometimes those circumstances are challenging, but we get to like decide if we're going to keep perpetuating patterns or if we're going to like alchemize and shift and like channel energy into a different way. So I use frequency in a lot of places in my business with, I would say, my long-term coaching. I will run specials sometimes, like I'll do like a reading combined with a scan or something, but I mostly do it in my like 3-month containers where I'll help someone craft a vision, which is one of my favorite things, because all of our micro strategies to respond, like it's really helpful to bounce off of each other until we get our vision. Like Jana, I really like to work with the moon, and so I do a lot of manifesting with the moon and setting our new moon intentions and kind of bringing through like the action oriented outward facing during the waxing phase, and then subconscious reprogramming during the waning phase. And so I love working with clients to like craft a really fucking juicy vision, like the one that like gets you the tingles. I don't like to put things into my coach that are just like, this sounds nice. Like I like to put things into my coach that I've like workshopped until I'm like so fucking excited about that thing. I'm like jumping out of bed in the morning going after that. And so I'll do that with clients too. And then throughout the container, I will run their vibration scans to them when I run mine to myself every day, which is usually I habit stack it with my meals. So it's like I'm eating breakfast, I'm running my thing. I'm eating lunch, I'm running my thing, and I think it's good to like set an intention when you do that and not just like leave it off into the over here, tune in when you're doing it, kind of like saying a prayer before you eat your food. I like do that with my scans. And so that's one way that I use it. I also love, like Eve, the creative homeopathy is like a bullseye. Like it's an ouch. Sometimes like, you're like, okay, that feels hurtful, but you're right, So I use that one a lot too. And then the other way that I use it is that for me, I really believe success is like 20% strategy and like 80% who I'm being in the world and my energetics and my vibration. So a lot of how I use it is for myself. And actually, I want to say one more thing about the working with clients. When I do scans for clients, like then we pull the C's and D's, because the C's and D's are like what I feel like we have control over and we can like work on. I don't just run a scan and then vibrate it to myself. What's the word? Like not connected to my human experience and just working in the quantum. I look at those C's and D's for myself and my clients, and I look at what I can do. Like, do I need to do some EFT tapping? Do I need to do some breath work? Like, do I need to journal around this and flush it out a little bit? Do I need to do some shadow work? Like, I'm not just like leaving it to the quantum. We're working on it on in both realms. So the C's and D's are like your emotion, like what's more rooted in your emotions and your physical experience. Whereas the LMs are kind of like floating around in the atmosphere and more on a spiritual level. And maybe we have like less control over what is happening there. So that's another thing that I always do. And it was funny. I wanted to tell this story because I ran a scan around prosperity and business for like months and months and months. I would get like, I like re-up it at the new moon and kind of rework it and like tweak it a little bit to be more in the present every time. And every time I would scan it, I would get this weird, and everybody knows, like sometimes in the coach scan, you get like some weird phrase that you're like, what does this mean? Like, I don't know what this means. And mine was your color scheme is off. And I was like, what does that mean? Like my colors are off. And I was like, for months, I was like, I don't know what this is trying to tell me. And then I was creating this success codes thing for my business, and I started taking a deep dive into astro style and like styling yourself based on your astrology. And I realized at some point when I moved to Oregon, I like entered Browntown. I was just like, everything I was wearing was brown. And I'm not an earth tone person in my astrology. Like my astrology is I'm a Cancer rising. I have a lot of water and Scorpio and in my chart. So it's not supposed to be earth tones. And when I shifted that and I started dressing more like my astro style and using it in my branding, I stopped getting that. So I thought that was really funny. And then I wanted to share quickly, I don't know where I'm at on time, but some ways that I think that you can work with your human design, because I am all about like practical examples and ways to use it and ways that I don't think we always think about. So in your human design, based on your energy type, you have an emotional theme that is like your jam, you know? Emotions are complicated and we all have lots of emotions, but like generators and man gens want to feel satisfied. So when you're crafting a statement in your success coach, using words like that, like I feel satisfied, I feel like juicy and lit up and magnetic, and like using those phrases that like align with your energy, can be really supportive. And then for a projector, it's like, I feel successful, I feel seen, I feel recognized, like my people are giving me the correct invitations. Manifestors, I feel at peace, I delegate with ease, I stand in my power. And then reflectors, like I feel delighted and surprised by life, I'm releasing my control and expectations. Like crafting statements that really lean into your like alignment can be really supportive. And then I also think like a big part of what I do is deconditioning and releasing not self. So the not self of pretty much all of the energy types except for reflectors falls in the anger bucket, right? It's like anger, it's frustration for generators and man gens, anger for manifestors, and bitterness for projectors. That all in the emotional scheme falls in the anger bucket. So if we have a lot of, which we can't go through life without having it, trapped emotions and stuck emotions, and where we felt frustrated and now we've built resentment and we're like storing it in our tissues and the waters of our body and we're not releasing that, then that's creating a lot of static in our field, right? And we're not able to like hear our intuition and authority as much, or like tap into where we're meant to go, because we've got all this pent up frustration that we've built up. So running programs that support the anger bucket, like, or even running like release with the intention of releasing your not self, releasing the anger, releasing the frustration, releasing the bitterness, running liver programs, because liver, gallbladder, the wood element is tied to anger. The Pitta program in Power of Three or conflict balance, like those kinds of programs to help release like the static in your field. And for reflectors, it's disappointment is the not self. So it will be like the grief bucket and like lung support and lung meridian and breath of life and programs like that to like clear out the static. I also love Brige has Mag Healy programs that like release trapped emotions in the organ systems. So like I have the liver program for releasing anger and not self. I love those programs so much. And then using release all the time to like release shadow and not self kind of stuff. Janet, I think I'm over on time now. I can stop now.
You're good.
Okay.
We're all just madly taking notes right now.
Okay. I can share a couple more things, or I can stop. I'm like, I want to like respect the time.
How about 2 more minutes, and then we have our last sharing.
2 more minutes. I'm gonna set a timer. 2 main things I would also say is like nervous system has been a huge thing for my whole life. I've got Mercury in detriment in my chart in the 6th house of health. My 6th house is ruled by another planet in detriment. Like I'm on a nervous system journey. Okay. Like usually when I'm speaking, I can remember like 8 or 9 years ago, I was leading a workshop at Nike and like everything on the outside looked fine. Like I'm leading a workshop. Inside, I was like talking myself down from a panic attack for like the first 20 minutes of the workshop. Like I always have like flop sweats when I'm leading a workshop. Like my nervous system is just highly active, and in the sensitivity spectrum, I'm like the orchid. You know, I've got gate 19 in my incarnation cross. I'm a sensitive being. So one of the main ways I've also worked with Healy in my business is like supporting my nervous system. Like I'm running Relax on my Healy right now. I've usually got Coherence on my mag at the same time, or Stress on my mag at the same time, to like calm the nervous system reaction down. So that's another main way that I work with it. I also work with it, much like Eve said, like just in managing my capacity of working with people. So running Release at the end of the day, if I feel like I've taken on a lot of other people's energy. I also love Care. And I know that Care is like an immune system program, but it's also like caring frequencies and like a weakened bioenergetic field. And like nothing makes me feel better at the end of the day than to run that program with the intention of like feeling deeply nourished and supported myself. It always feels like the warmest like hug for me. And then I also think like supporting our nervous system is going to be so big this year with Jupiter moving through Gemini for a whole year and like so much air energy. So I highly recommend working with it in those ways. And then also like I think a lot of times we focus on what's not working and we could focus on what is working. So like leaning into positive aspects in our chart. What if it could be easy? And running programs like Being and Activation and Coherence in alignment with the gifts in your chart and like what you can amplify rather than always thinking about what we need to let go of. Okay, I'm done now. Thank you.
Oh my God, I love it. I think you need to do a master class for us just on like Healy with your chart. Oh, amazing. I love all of that. I think we're going to flag this for listen on 75% speed and have more time for
Right, sorry.
No, that's okay. I have to do it all the time. Okay. So next up, I want to introduce, we have Donita. I hope I said your name right. Donita Ward is an Akashic Records healer, a sound or a soul astrologer, and astrocartographer. By weaving together ancient practices, plant wisdom, energy work, and embodiment techniques, she guides souls on transformative journeys of self-discovery, empowerment, and heightened awareness. Are you here?
Yes, I am.
Oh, yes. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me here today. And I am very new to Healy. And I want to start with this, kind of how I began. You know, I literally got Healy a month ago. But the story is also very interesting because Holly, my friend, she introduced me, she told me about Healy about, I don't know, a few months back. And I felt the yes, yet the timing wasn't, it wasn't the divine time at the time. So when I reached out to her intuitively, I listened to my intuition and I reached out to her. She was at the conference. It happened that she was at the conference. And of course, it happened a day when we had Jupiter conjunct the sun, the luckiest day of the year, 18th of May. And when she told me about that and the promotion, I felt the body. I'm a generator. I'm a 6-2 generator. And I felt the body. My body started purring. I got excited and I felt the softness in my belly. My belly became softer and expanded. And the word came, I kept getting the visual and the word came, expansion, expansion, expanding. And I got excited, you know, I'm a generator, so it's a full body yes. I got excited and I went ahead. I didn't listen to my brain much because, you know, working in the, with ancient modalities, with ancient energies, you know, the Tibetan, the shamanism, the plant medicine, the essential oils and all that is magical and it's powerful and it's profound and deeply changing. So I was like, why do I need this little device, you know? But I got it, you know, I said yes to it. And it was fascinating to notice and observe how the weaving, you know, began right when I said yes to it. You know, even I didn't even have the device in my hand. It didn't even arrive. But the excitement, you know, I would sleep on it. And in the morning I would wake up, I was like, okay, is it still there? Yes, and it's even stronger. And then I started weaving, I started connecting with the soul of Healy, you know, with the soul of this, the frequency of it. And it was just beautiful, kind of weaving you know, the weaving and the potentiality and what is there for me. And I got even more excited at this like expansion. It is time to expand. By the way, today, right now, this is my first time that I'm speaking in front of a large group live. I'm a true hermit. So when I got the invitation today, by the way, thank you so much. You know, my mouth went dry, my belly went because I love hiding and I love doing my work in the private, in the quiet. Yet I said yes to it. And here I am. And I only had Healy for a month. And I'm still very excited. I start my day using it. You know, I run the program. I love the Blue app. I love all the apps. I'm still, like I said, I'm new to it, yet I can feel the shifts already. And I love the mug. Healy is always running in the background when I'm at home. I have a lot of pets, so I run that with my pets to get the coherence, to get the pet harmony. On my body, when I sleep, when I have sessions with clients, you know, it's here. But also what I notice I love doing is using Healy daily, several times a day. It has deepened my own spiritual practice. It's the expansion is already flowing from within outward. And it's, you know, ultimately I got it for myself to actually assist, to help. Because right now, everybody knows everything is changing so fast. The energies are so strong. We're getting so much high frequency. We're getting so much energy right now. So that our bodies, they're kind of, you know, they need all the help, especially with Gemini, with Jupiter in Gemini. I'm a Gemini sun. So there's, you know, with so much energy coming in, with so much change, so much stress factors, so much movement. I love this vision of, you know, having Healy at home, at the fingertips, right here, to actually bring it into my everyday life, you know, for me, for my family, for my business, for my inner growth. But yes, coming into that coherent state. And I don't know how much I'm going to share, but the fact is that, as I said, new to Healy, I love it. And I'm super excited to use it, to share about it. You know, I love the Blue app. I ran the coach program. I love the Aura program. I love all the remedies, the back remedies, and I use it daily. And it's fascinating how accurate it is. And then, you know, what I love about it is also like I read what it comes through, and then I give myself the space and the time to contemplate. That's something that I love doing, contemplating nature. Before I even run the vibration, before I even run the program, I'll just let it, you know, expand and let it come to me intuitively, connect to it. And I was like, wow, you know, the karma, the whatnot, you know, the belief system, the trauma, the past life, this life. And that's, you know, I came into this, the Akashic Records, astrology, human design, gene keys. As a Gemini, I'm curious. I'm curious and I'm thirsty to deepen my relationship with myself primarily, to open myself to my highest potential, to be centered and aligned so I can be in better service to the others, to the humanity, to just to myself really even, right? So I can be me and be free to be me and be aligned to be myself as I am. So I love using Healy for that. And I can feel already, even using it for a month only, I feel the shift. I feel the expansion. I feel the softness in my belly and the excitement that is, there is a next level of hope and of joy that is here. And, you know, like what came to me as well is astrology, human design, gene keys, all of those modalities, they're amazing and so profound. but I see them as different languages bringing us home to ourselves, connecting us to our soul guidance. So it's, you know, if you're interested in knowing all of them, great. If it's too much for your nervous system, connect to that softness in your belly, to that heart, to your softness in your heart, to the warmth in your heart. Remember that the heart knows the truth, not the mind, not the stories, your heart. You know, just drop into your body. And that's what I do daily. You know, that's how I did it even with Healy. I dropped into my body and I was shocked. And I was like, really? I need that? I want that. I'm excited about that. I'm getting it. Wow. Just like that. And I practice this daily. It's so simple to just, you know, come into my heart, ground myself in my body, feel the soles of my feet touching the ground, you know, ground myself into myself. And just breathe, you know, the breath of life, connect to my breath. Like right now, I'm a bit nervous, but I'm amazed that I'm actually talking without being frozen. I'm running calm and coherence in the background, just so you know. Before the call, I asked the ladies, what are you running at the moment? So I can chime in. I'm very hopeful, but it's not just hopeful. I am looking forward to what is there because I can see it. I can see the expansion. Expansion is uncomfortable. So, you know, expanding is uncomfortable. Being seen is not comfortable, not for me. You know, I'm a 6'2", hiding with a lot of that suppressed in the background. I'm originally from Europe, so a lot of that from the back. And this, using Healy daily, I can feel this drops of expansion, this ease coming through, this support. It is really supportive to my body. So my body can relax, my fascia can relax, my lungs can breathe, and I can just be balanced, come home to myself and allow myself to be myself. Give permission to be me, you know, just me and nobody else, just me. So I hope that made sense, you know, like, and one thing I wanted to share as well, you know, as I am in all of these different modalities, those are like portals to our soul's wisdom. I also notice that when I am full, you know, pay attention to yourself, pay attention to how you feel. If you feel full, you know, listen to that body, you know, run the Healy like Amanda. Thank you so much for your wisdom, ladies. You know, I'll run release every day now, you know, but go into nature, you know, bring your Healy with you, go barefoot on the ground, bring your Healy with you, hug a tree, you know, just it's not, what I learned is it's not like this or that, it's all of it. But listen to your intuition, how you weave, because we're all weavers, we're all masters, we're all creators. So I'm very excited to be with you ladies, or everyone on this journey, and looking forward to what's the future comes. So thank you. I'm complete. Geez, I'm a child.
Thank you so much. What a beautiful share. Can we just take a moment and give a little praise to all of our speakers today? Everybody brought such a unique way of being and beautifully embodied energy. And I just feel so blessed to be in the company of such incredible beings. Yes. Okay. So I wanted to close this call today with something that I've been really thinking about. And that's that, you know, in our Healy community, we all have this like big excitement around Black Friday, but actually we have better sales in June. I just noticed this the last 2 Junes. And the promos that are on right now they're more expansive than what they are when we have that big flash one on Black Friday, because we've got the Resonance Plus is on sale. The Meg Healy in North America just went on a flash sale for 50% off. The Pro is on for 50% off. And then it has Natural Cycle, which is what I mentioned, just recent about aligning with the sun, the moon, and the earth cycles. Soul Cycle, which so many of you listed as some of your favorites, and it comes with a free Healy coil, so 50% off the Pro. But I hear a lot of people say, oh, it's still too expensive. But you know what? We have 40% off the Healy Resonance Plus, and it comes with the Natural Cycle and the Soul Cycle as well. And so there's these two different like entry points to it. And then in Europe, they extended their 50% off the Pro that comes with a free coil, and 40% off the Resonance Plus and the Resonance as well, and 50% off the Meg Healy. Like it's like the best promos ever. And some of these, I think in Australia, they have 40% off the Pro Dual Bundle. So it's the Pro Meg Healy and the Pro Healy, but it only goes until June 18th. So that one's till tomorrow. So if you're in Australia, New Zealand, and I think that also might include Asian countries. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it includes Asia as well. That dual bundle is going to end tomorrow. But there are incredible promos across the board this month. And so if you're here on this call and you're like, okay, it's time for me to do this, reach out to the person who invited you to this call, and they will guide you to their link. This is a community-based or a referral-based community. And so the person that you buy with is going to be your point person. And so yes, get their link from them and take advantage of these amazing sales. And then when you come into our community, we have calls like this every week. We also have other training calls on Thursdays. We also have, we call frequency school, that happen from time to time, where we bring in experts and we do deep dives into different aspects of your Healy and quantum conversation. And so you're not just getting a Healy, you're welcoming yourself, you're buying a ticket into a community that has conversations that are expansive and kind of mind-boggling sometimes, and help us to think and understand the world in a really cool way. And you've heard from 4 of us today, but there are literally thousands of us in this community, and it's so hard to pick who gets to talk on the calls, but we try to have a nice mixture, and the community is just incredible. So reach out to the person that sent you here and see what you can find. And oh yeah, people in the chat are saying there's also a payment plan. The payment plans, in my experience, have been a little bit finicky. I'm in Canada. If it doesn't work the first time, don't worry. It might work the second time. It's not because the payment plan doesn't like you. It's because the structure is not optimized yet, but there are payment plans. If you're familiar with Klarna, or some countries have PayPal, and those options exist. But yes. And Jana, I know that I invited you here, so I'm going to answer your question directly on Instagram afterwards. Okay. Just reach out there. Anything else that I'm missing, ladies? Did I get everything? Yeah, wonky Klarna for Canada. I know. They'll get it. Okay, I think we nailed it. Thank you so much. We'll see you again. We do these every Monday. If you're a guest, feel free to come. We change the theme up all the time. And for everybody else, we'll see you on Thursday. And hey, just a teaser to all the Healy crew. We're cooking up something fun for us for the fall. So stay connected, stay plugged in. All right. Thank you all so much. We'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.